Have you ever wondered what it would take to sink a modern supercarrier? These are the largest warships ever built by humankind. Nimitz-class carrier displacing 100,000 plus tons. Ford-class carrier displacing 100,000 plus tons. A floating city powered by 2 nuclear reactors, a 4.5-acre flight deck, a sovereign runway, deck lined with fighter jets ready to launch. Not just symbols of military might, the definition of power projection. Can shape global events by appearing on the horizon. The sheer scale is almost impossible to comprehend. More than a big target, a self-contained ecosystem of technology steel human will. Nearly 6,000 sailors and aviators on board. They maintain the aircraft, they operate complex sensor systems, they run the nuclear power plants, they cook the meals. A marvel of engineering built to withstand punishment. Imagine knocking down a skyscraper with a handful of rocks. That is the scale of the challenge. The belief that an aircraft carrier is nearly impossible to sink is not just propaganda. Since the end of World War II, no U.S. supercarrier has ever been lost in combat. This perfect record has built a powerful myth of invincibility. People see an unbroken chain of dominance. They have sailed through every major conflict, Vietnam, Persian Gulf, projecting power and surviving threats. This creates a psychological barrier for adversaries. Attacking a carrier is not just a military calculation, it's an attempt to defy history. The physical design of a modern carrier explains much, built with redundancy and resilience. The hull is divided into thousands of watertight compartments. If one section is breached, doors can be sealed to isolate flooding. A hard-won lesson from Pacific battles in World War II. Vital areas, command center, reactor compartments, ammunition magazines, all protected by Kevlar and specialized steel armor. One of the most significant threats to a modern aircraft carrier comes from the sky. Anti-ship ballistic missiles, often called carrier killers. They are a game-changer in naval warfare. Unlike traditional cruise missiles that fly low and slow, ballistic missiles arc high into the upper atmosphere. They then plummet towards their target at hypersonic speeds, more than 5 times the speed of sound. Imagine a weapon launched from over 1,000 miles away on land, traveling through space, then screaming down towards a carrier at Mach 10. This is the challenge posed by China's DF-21D and the DF-26. The speed of these weapons is what makes them so terrifying. A defending ship has only a few precious seconds to react from re-entry to impact. Traditional anti-missile systems were not designed to intercept something moving that fast. The sheer kinetic energy of the impact, even without a warhead, could be catastrophic. A direct hit could pierce the flight deck and detonate deep inside the ship. An attacker could launch missiles and salvos to overwhelm defenses. This saturation tactic is a core principle of modern anti-access/area denial strategy. The carrier must defend against both threats simultaneously. This creates a complex 360-degree battlefield across altitudes and directions. While missiles attack from above, an equally deadly threat lurks in the silent depths of the ocean: the modern submarine. Today's advanced diesel-electric and nuclear-powered attack submarines are stealthier than ever before. Some are coated with anechoic tiles that absorb sonar signals, making them incredibly difficult to detect. Others use advanced propulsion systems like air-independent propulsion, allowing them to remain submerged for weeks without needing to surface or snorkel for air. They are silent hunters, patiently waiting in the deep, listening for the telltale acoustic signature of a carrier strike group passing overhead. The submarine is the ultimate ambush predator of the sea. The primary weapon of an attack submarine against a carrier is the heavyweight torpedo. A modern torpedo, like the American Mark 48 or the Russian Type 65, is a devastatingly powerful weapon. It does not just hit the side of a ship, it is designed to detonate directly underneath the keel. The explosion creates a massive gas bubble that violently lifts the ship's hull. As the bubble collapses, the ship slams back down into the void, and this immense stress can literally break the ship's back, snapping the keel. A single well-placed torpedo has the potential to inflict a fatal wound on even the largest supercarrier, far more effectively than a missile hitting the upper decks. The challenge of finding a submarine is known as anti-submarine warfare, and it is one of the most difficult and resource-intensive missions in modern navies. The ocean is a noisy and complex environment, making it easy for a quiet submarine to hide. A carrier strike group uses a layered defense to hunt them. In the 21st century, a warship's greatest vulnerability may not be its steel hull, but, its digital networks. A modern aircraft carrier is basically a massive floating data center. It relies on countless interconnected computer systems to navigate, communicate, track threats, launch aircraft. The Aegis Combat System is a prime example. It integrates the ship's sensors. It integrates the ship's weapons. These systems are the ship's brain and nervous system. If an adversary could hack into them, they could cripple the carrier without firing a shot. This is cyber warfare, a battlefield where the weapons are lines of code. A successful cyber attack could take many forms. An attacker could insert malware into the ship's navigation systems, making it report a false position. That could lead the entire strike group astray, or worst case, cause it to run aground. They could target combat systems, feeding false sensor data. Imagine radar screens showing phantom fleets or hiding the approach of real inbound missiles. An attacker could also try to disable the ship's communication links, isolating it from its command structure. While high-tech missiles and cyber attacks grab headlines, one of the oldest forms of warfare remains a potent threat: the enemy within. An aircraft carrier is a city of 6,000 people, a complex web of operations and personnel, sailors, aviators, contractors. A single individual in the right place at the right time could cause catastrophic damage through sabotage. This person could be an insider, a disgruntled crew member who has been turned by a foreign intelligence agency, or an infiltrator who got a job on the ship or at the shipyard where it's being built or maintained, waiting for the moment to strike. The opportunities for sabotage are numerous. A saboteur could start a fire in a critical space, an engine room, an ammunition magazine. Fire is one of the greatest dangers on any ship, and a well-placed incendiary device could be devastating. The 2020 fire that destroyed USS Bonhomme Richard in San Diego is a tragic reminder. That fire, allegedly started by a single sailor, burned for 4 days and led to the ship being scrapped. Imagine a similar fire on a nuclear-powered carrier at sea with full stores of jet fuel. An aircraft carrier never sails alone. It is the heart of a carrier strike group, a powerful formation of warships, its shield and sword. This layered defense makes attacking a carrier monumental. The strike group is a team. Every ship has a specific job protecting the fleet's most valuable asset. Typically, a carrier strike group includes at least one Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser. They serve as the air defense commander, Aegis Combat System, Spy-1 radar scanning for threats from hundreds of miles away. Next, a squadron of Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, jacks of all trades, anti-air defense with Aegis and Standard missiles, anti-submarine hunters, sonars and helicopters, Tomahawk cruise missiles for long-range strikes. Destroyers form a protective ring around the carrier. Their presence complicates any attacker's plans. Lurking beneath the waves, a U.S. nuclear-powered attack submarine. It sails ahead as a silent scout, finds and neutralizes enemy submarines before torpedo range. It listens for hostile presence, sanitizing the path for surface ships. Attacking a United States aircraft carrier is not just a military decision, it is a geopolitical one with immense consequences. Any nation that successfully sinks or even seriously damages a carrier has crossed a line from which there is likely no return. It would be seen in the United States not just as an act of war, but as a direct assault on the nation itself. That ship is considered American soil, and its crew of nearly 6,000 are American citizens. The political and public outcry for retaliation would be overwhelming and immediate. The response would likely be swift, massive, and honestly disproportionate. The attacker would have to be prepared for total war with the world's most powerful military. The United States would bring its full might to bear, targeting the aggressor nation's military forces, command and control centers, economic infrastructure. The conflict would almost certainly expand far beyond the initial naval engagement. An attack on a carrier is a declaration that you are willing to risk everything. Only a nation facing an existential threat or a regime with a profound misunderstanding of American resolve would even contemplate such an action. The price of sinking one ship could be the destruction of your entire country. Furthermore, the economic consequences would be catastrophic, not just for the attacker, but for the entire world. International trade routes would be disrupted, financial markets would crash, and the interconnected system of global commerce would grind to a halt. So, is it easy or almost impossible to take down the world's largest aircraft carrier? The truth is somewhere in the middle, but leans heavily toward almost impossible. Sinking a modern supercarrier is not an easy task. It would require a sophisticated multi-domain attack that perfectly coordinates missiles, submarines, cyber or special forces. The attacker would need near-perfect intelligence to find the carrier. They'd have to launch a massive coordinated salvo of advanced weapons to even hope to overwhelm the carrier strike group's defenses. Physically sinking the ship is a monumental challenge. The ship is built to absorb tremendous punishment. Even if missiles get through, even if torpedoes get through, damage control teams, among the best trained, would fight to contain fires and flooding. Compartmentalized design armored sections mean multiple, well-placed, devastating hits would be needed to sink her. More likely as a mission kill. Flight deck disabled, launch systems disabled, taking the ship out of the fight without sinking it.